Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're looking at something, well, something that sounds completely wrong at first glance.
Right.
The idea, based on our sources, is that we're actually messing up our own happiness, our own sense of meaning, because we avoid one specific feeling.
Boredom.
Exactly. Boredom. We hate it, we do everything to avoid it, and the claim is this avoidance is hurting us badly.
Yeah, the core idea from the research is pretty stark. It basically says you need to be bored.
Oh.
You will have less meaning and you will be more depressed if you never are bored. So our job today is to unpack that. Look at the science, the data.
And figure out what's really going on in the brain when we're just idle.
Precisely. And then maybe offer some practical ways, some protocols the sources suggest to bring back a bit of that productive emptiness.
Okay, let's start with the basics. Boredom. For most people, it's just a cue, right? Pull out the phone. What's happening scientifically when we don't do that?
Well, scientifically, boredom is just when you're not cognitively busy with something external. And when that happens, your brain doesn't just power down. It actually switches over to a different system. Neuroscientists call it the default mode network, the DMN.
Your DMN.
Yeah.
Sounds important. What is it? Like, what parts of the brain are we talking about?
Yeah, it's a network, several interconnected parts, medial prefrontal cortex, posterior cingulate cortex, areas in the parietal lobe.
Okay, brain stuff.
Right, brain stuff. But the key thing is when it activates. It comes online when you're not focused outward. You know, driving, sitting quietly, maybe waiting for a bus, and you just kind of zone out for a bit.
Yeah. Mind wandering.
Exactly, but it's inward mind wandering. The DMN is sort of the brain's internal simulation and narrative building space.
And that's what we try so desperately to avoid now, isn't it? That little gap in line, maybe 15 seconds.
Gone. Instantly filled with the phone screen. We kill that DMN time.
Why, though? Why do we hate it so much? What's so bad about the DMN activating?
Because when it switches on, it shifts focus from solving external problems to internal ones. It starts processing you. Yeah, your identity, your memories, reflecting on choices, planning your future. It's doing self-referential thought.
So it's not thinking about nothing. It's thinking about the big stuff,
Yeah.
the hard stuff.
That's it. The DMN naturally brings up these sometimes uncomfortable existential questions like, is my life making sense? Am I living consistently with my values? What am I actually doing with my life?
Oh.
It's the system trying to weave together a coherent story for your life. And while sometimes that process brings up things that feel fragmented or uncomfortable.
And we have some pretty shocking data about how much people want to avoid that feeling.
Uh-huh.
Tell us about that Harvard experiment.
Oh, yeah, it's really striking. This was work by Dan Gilbert and his team. They put people in a room just for 15 minutes, told them, do nothing, just sit and think.
15 minutes. Okay.
But there was a button. And if they
Yeah.
pressed it, they got a painful electric shock. Not dangerous, but definitely unpleasant.
So sit there bored or shock yourself.
Yep. And the result? A huge majority. I mean, really, a significant number of people chose to give themselves electric shocks rather than just sit there with their thoughts.
Wow. They preferred pain over boredom.
Physical pain over, it seems, the potential mental discomfort of the DMN firing up. It says a lot about how much we dislike that internal space.
Okay, I have to ask, though. If the DMN forces us to confront maybe how messy or meaningless things feel, isn't avoiding it kind of logical?
Yeah.
Doesn't that forced thinking just make you more depressed right then?
That's the critical point, and the sources tackle it head on, short term. Yes, it can feel bad, uncomfortable.
Right.
But the argument is that this discomfort is actually necessary. By constantly using devices to shut down the DMN, we're essentially eliminating the only mental process we have for integrating those messy parts into a meaningful whole.
Ah, okay. So it's not the thinking that causes the big rise in depression and anxiety we're seeing. It's the avoidance of the thinking.
That's the core argument. When you shut off the DMN thousands of times a week, even for tiny moments, you effectively stop the search for meaning. You deny your brain the space it needs to solve those big life puzzles.
Oh, the doom loop of meaning you mentioned.
Oh, exactly. You feel a bit empty, so you grab the phone for distraction, which stops you finding meaning, which makes you feel emptier. We've sort of perfected the art of preventing the mind wandering we need, and then we wonder why we feel hollow.
So using our phones isn't just a habit. It's almost like an active denial of figuring ourselves out.
That's one way to frame it, yeah.
Okay, so if we do allow ourselves to feel bored to let the DMN run,
Yeah.
what's the upside? What's the immediate benefit?
This is where it gets really positive. The sources suggest the benefits come pretty quickly if you push through that initial discomfort. First up, creativity.
Creativity, from being bored.
Yeah. The claim is if you stop taking your phone or listening to, well, podcasts like this one, maybe. Sorry. But if you stop the input during things like working out or going for a walk, you'll have your most interesting ideas then.
How does that work? What's the mechanism?
It's because the DMN is like an associative network. When your brain is idle, it starts pulling together random bits of information, old memories, things you didn't even know you remembered, and it connects them in new ways. When you're focused, you use specific paths. When you're bored, the DMN opens things up, lets unrelated ideas bump into each other. That's where insight often comes from, that aha moment.
So being bored can literally make us better thinkers, more innovative. What about just daily life? Does it make that better?
Paradoxically, yes. This is the skill part. The sources argue that getting better at boredom, at tolerating that DMN space, actually makes you less bored with everyday stuff.
Wait, how does that work? Being bored makes you less bored.
It sounds weird, I know. But the idea is that allowing that deeper reflection kind of resets your attention. You become less reliant on constant, high-level external stimulation to feel engaged.
So you become more present.
More present, maybe more appreciative of smaller things, better able to just be without needing constant novelty. You trade those quick hits of dopamine for something more sustained.
And that loops back to the biggest payoff, right?
Yeah.
This boredom, this productive emptiness, lets us actually grapple with the big questions. Purpose, meaning.
Coherence, significance. Yeah. It's the pathway, the sources argue, to actually building a life story that feels authentic. And the potential result, you might just get happier.
By confronting the stuff that initially feels bad.
It's the process of integration that leads to feeling less hollow.
Okay, but let's be real. This is hard. Fighting that urge to check the phone. The sources even say it feels like children screaming in your head.
It's a great description, actually, because it is almost like an addiction. That urge is tied to dopamine, a powerful brain chemical. It's a physiological craving.
So willpower alone probably isn't enough.
Probably not for most people. That's why the sources emphasize structure, clear rules, protocols. You need boundaries to reclaim that thinking space.
Okay, let's lay them out. What are the specific protocols recommended?
Number 1, an evening cutoff. No devices after 7:00 p.m. or maybe 8:10 p.m., whatever works, but a definite stop time.
Why is that so important?
Your brain needs that wind down period. Less stimulation helps prepare for sleep, sure, but it also just gives the DMN room to breathe before bed.
Makes sense. Okay, number 2.
Do not sleep with the phone. Get it out of the bedroom completely.
Use a real alarm clock.
Exactly. Buy a cheap one. Just having the phone nearby, even off, is a psychological pull. If you wake up at 3 a.m., the temptation is right there. Better to just remove it. Let your mind wander if you can't sleep.
Okay, 3rd protocol.
This one's about connection. No devices during family meals, or meals with friends, really. Any shared mealtime.
Be present with the people who are actually there.
Right. It's not just manners. It's signaling to your brain this interaction matters. It helps consolidate memories and build stronger connections in your real life, not your digital one. Collect that presence dividend, as the source puts it.
Presence dividend. I like that. Okay, and the last one.
Regular breaks. Social media fasts, screen cleanses. Longer periods, like 24 hours, 48 hours, maybe a weekend completely off the grid, or at least off the constant connection.
A digital detox.
Yeah, basically a neurological reboot. The sources admit the first day or two can be rough, those screaming children again, but it helps reset your dopamine levels. People often report feeling much less anxious, much calmer afterwards, like a weight lifted.
So the challenge for listeners is to start small.
Yeah.
Right. Practice getting better at being bored. Maybe just 15 minutes.
15 minutes is a great starting point. Your commute, maybe. No radio, no podcast, sorry again.
It's okay. It's for a good cause.
Right. Just nothing. Let your mind go where it goes for that 15-minute chunk. That's the minimum training time for your DMM.
Okay, but we have to address the big fear. FOMO. Fear of missing out. People hear, turn off your phone, and panic. What if there's an emergency? What if I miss critical news?
It's a huge barrier, absolutely. The sources approach it in 2 ways. First, the psychological reset. Realizing that 99% of the urgent stuff you consume online actually has zero lasting importance for your life.
We're wired for novelty, but the novelty isn't actually valuable.
Exactly. We trade deep meaning for shallow updates. The second part is practical. You don't have to be completely unreachable.
Right. Technology can help here.
Yeah. Set up your phone so only truly essential calls can get through. Maybe one or two numbers, partner, kids, boss, if absolutely necessary. Block everything else.
So you filter for genuine emergencies, not just noise.
Precisely. You have to be honest with yourself. What's trending on Twitter is not an emergency. The latest political tweet, not an emergency. It can wait.
It's hard to break that feeling, though.
It is, but think about it. Your grandparents weren't plugged in 24/7. They didn't know every update from Washington instantly. This constant fire hose of information. The sources argue it's literally killing yourself neurologically. It destroys the space needed for mental health.
Wow. Okay, so bringing it all together.
The bottom line is pretty clear from this research. Avoiding your devices, specifically carving out time away from them, is how you reliably activate the DMN.
And the DMN is the key pathway to finding meaning, to integrating your life story.
Which, in turn, helps reduce that feeling of hollowness, anxiety, and depression. So these protocols, these boundaries, they're not just nice to have, they're potentially really, really helpful tools for well-being.
So if you're feeling that anxiety, that sort of background hum of dissatisfaction, maybe the answer isn't more stimulation. Maybe it's less.
Maybe it's allowing for some productive quiet. Take the challenge. Start with those 15 minutes. See what happens.
All right. Based on everything we've dug into today, the final thought, the challenge from our sources is this. Put down your phones. You need more meaning in your life.
And so do I.